Cold start right in the rain. And of course it stalls out. I'm gonna let it. Whoa, that's too much choke. I'm gonna let it idle here. Warm up for a few minutes. These Mikuni BS34 carburetors have like a really finicky choke. There we go. You can see the rain evaporating off of the engine there. I hope you can see that. Got this almost like a sneezing sound coming from the exhaust not from the exhaust, from the gaskets on the engine, the cylinder head and the jug head. I actually need to get that taken care of, but I don't have the money to right now. It was a major undertaking. The whole engine's got to come out. Whole thing's got to come apart. Shoe fly. It's starting to idle up higher. Turn off the choke, but it's still not quite ready. I'm having to hold a little bit of throttle on it. See? Ooh, that steam is coming up pretty intense now. So, some people might ask, why so many mirrors? I got 4 of them. 2 on the fairing and 2 on the handlebars. These bikes are kind of weird. Like this fairing didn't come out. Oh, sorry, hold on, let me back up. This fairing will fit on the previous generation of bike, of the police edition of the Kawasaki. But the thing is, they didn't come out for a few years afterwards. Like the first police bike, the KZ1000C, was 1977, I believe, 77, 78, and this fairing didn't come out till 80 or 81, and it was actually for this generation, which is the second generation. But anyway, for the 1988, which is what this one is, the stock fairing is supposed to have mirrors on the front. It is not supposed to have mirrors on the handlebars. But when I bought it, it had the mirrors on the handlebars, but not on the front. And I kind of got T-boned about a year ago by somebody with no insurance, and I ended up having to repair the bike by myself. And the fairing I ended up getting to replace the damaged one. It's actually off of an 88, whereas this being an 88, you know, it didn't have that originally. For some reason it had a different model of fairing. It was the same basic fairing, but just it didn't have the mounting points for the mirrors. So when I bought this one, it came with both mirrors, but the right one was smashed off in shipping. The left one survived shipping. It took me about a month and a half to find a new old stock mirror for the front on the right. And when I put them on, took it out for a test ride to see if I felt confident removing the handlebar mirrors, and I didn't. The fairing mirrors vibrate too much, but I can use them as, well, let me see it here. I can use the fairing mirrors as, I forgot mine. I can use the fairing mirrors as blind spot mirrors, and that's what I've been doing. I think I'm ready to go. The cops who owned this bike before I got a hold of it, either that or whoever bought it from them, because I got it from the person who got it from the cops, they let the shift lever get way too much slop in it and they never tightened it down, and so now I'm having to deal with it. It's feeling a lot crisper than it used to. And visor's fogging up. There's often somebody might pull out over up here. Lots of blind driveways and blind intersections. You may have noticed I have a USB charger in the fairing. It's actually a marine grade charger intended for use on boats. I drilled out the fairing to make holes for it, and I didn't want it to be in that position, but it was the only real way to do it and still having access to everything. And there's a couple of bolts missing from the windshield. That's actually on purpose because this windshield is not precisely sized to this fairing. It fits the old one, but not this one. I need to find a place that'll sell me Lexan in that thickness so I can go and make my own. It's only curved on one axis. So, because Lexan bends without applying heat, as long as I can get a sheet that's big enough and get the tool I need to cut it, I should be good. A lot more people out here than I would personally prefer, given that we should still be under lockdown, but this is Georgia, and if there's one thing Georgia's really good at, it's screwing everything up. So I'm actually really concerned that we're going to end up with a second wave of coronavirus deaths. Caused by ending lockdown a little bit too soon. But here's the really stupid part. Like, you get all these people wanting to go for getting their hair done and getting their nails done, and that's simply not possible. Yes, the governor has actually declared that it's now allowed, but the Georgia State Health Department, and I heard this from a friend of mine who's a hairdresser. They did this video conference with the various like hairdressers and whatnot, and they said these are the guidelines you have to operate under. And it's something like every single customer needs a new cape. Like they have to replace the cape for every single customer. They need to have a mask on, and for every single new customer they need to change their mask as well as their gloves. This is not tenable. I mean, it's not that the capes can't be ordered in bulk. I mean, I suppose they could, but then we'd end up with a shortage of capes very soon. But there's already a shortage of masks. Why on earth do they think it's a good idea to reopen and require that they have all these masks on hand? Where are they going to buy them in bulk? They're not available in bulk anywhere. As a result, all of the hair salons are unable to operate. And because the governor has said that they can operate, now the landlords are allowed to say, hey, you need to pay your rent. So we're going to have a lot of mom and pop shops having to close up because they can't eat the cost of the rent for a month, 2 months, however long it takes. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be allowed to have masks. I mean, that people shouldn't be required to wear masks. I think people should be required to wear masks. Only reason I'm not wearing one is I'm alone on my bike. I'm not actually going anywhere. I'm not going to be doing anything face-to-face, and my helmet works as a mask, at least if I have to be pulled over or whatever. But then you get these people who are like, I shouldn't be required to wear a mask because my freedom. Freedom, really. I mean, I get the concept, and I agree with the sentiment, but it's not fascism to require that people wear a mask to protect themselves and others. See all these people? How many people are driving on the wrong side of the road? None. You know why? Not because of fascism. The law requires them to, but the law is partly what helps people know that they should, but absolutely nobody wants anybody to be driving on the wrong side of the road because everybody wants to stay safe on the road. Nobody wants to get into a traffic accident. That's not fascism. It's common sense. You have a global pandemic that can be communicated via the air. How is that not common sense to wear a mask? It's the same damn thing. I really need to fix the fitment on this helmet. That's a lot of people right there. Not used to seeing this road with that many cars on it. Like there's some kind of detour up there or something. Used to be a sport bike in that trailer there. Looks like it's gone. See it every time I went by. With it being raining, I was thinking maybe the last time I saw it, like last time I went by, I didn't see it either. Thinking maybe he was out riding. But with it being raining, either he's pretty hardcore, or at least hardcore compared to most people, or he got rid of it. Might have sold it. Probably did. The coronavirus shutdowns and whatnot, probably sold it to help pay bills. All this acceleration, I mean, I know it doesn't look that impressive, But you have to understand, I'm barely touching the throttle.